Well, you've heard the old expression, where there's a will, there's a way. Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, we'll be talking to an estate planning expert who says a will is not all you need. That's just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, let's face it, most families don't get around to talking about death, what happens when mom and dad passes, and so sometimes people go through their whole life and never really plan for their own passing, and we've all become acutely aware of it with COVID-19, so many unexpected and sudden deaths in the last few months. To talk about that today, Kelly Walling, she is with Caperton Walling Law Firm. Thank you for coming on the show.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Okay, before we get into COVID-19 and some of the things that you do, I want the audience to get to know you. Your dad was a famous lawyer here in town.
Yes, he was, and I had the privilege of practicing with him for a number of years before he passed away. He was a criminal lawyer and a civil lawyer, and that's pretty unusual.
And you were telling me stories about your childhood. You remember from the very youngest age going to Dad's work and getting to know judges. And
yeah, I do. I loved it. I mean, I would spend all my free time with him that I could. At the house he would work, and I'd always want to know what he was into, and then at the office. And then, of course, I went to the courthouse with him a lot. And I knew all the judges, and I could ask to sit in their chairs, and they'd let me.
Wow.
It was fun.
I can see how the bug would bite you there.
Oh, yes, it did. It did.
So tell us about your practice. I know you do a number of different things, but one of the things that you're very passionate about is estate planning.
It is. I do a great deal of estate planning and some probate work, which kind of goes hand in hand with that. Probate work is when somebody passes away and you have to go to court and handle the estate. But the estate planning, it speaks to me even more because I hate to see what happens to families when they haven't done it.
Yes. Well, let's talk about COVID-19 because so many families were caught by surprise, and the time to be planning is not when somebody's about to pass, is it?
No, it's not. It's much better to have everything done in advance because when somebody's about to pass, they've already got such chaos and such emotion and such, there's fear and hurt and all that stuff going on. And it takes so much time to work with somebody, to walk that walk with them towards the end. So really, yes, it's much better to have the planning done in advance.
We've got a blog that you wrote that got a lot of comments. It's called A Will Isn't All You Need. Tell us more about that blog piece.
Okay, it's a blog I wrote and put on my website, and it has to do with the fact that while you do need a will, and it's super important to have one, there are other documents that are critical as well. Those documents are a medical, statutory durable power of attorney, a medical power of attorney, and an advance directive.
What do those things mean?
A medical power of attorney is a document we use to assign somebody else the job of taking care of your medical issues when you are no longer able to do so yourself. It does not come into play until you are incompetent to take care of yourself, and then it allows another person to go ahead and help make those medical decisions you need, because there are so many that come up at the end, and a lot of it has to do with life-sustaining care and things of that nature. But those are good also to have for people who are incompetent, who are old, not old.
Sure, sure. And this piece that you wrote even got you a wonderful interview that we're we're going to play in the background with the Flower Mound publication. So when you and I were talking before we went on, we talked about some famous cases like Aretha Franklin, and these are things that are still being fought over. Is that right?
That is right. Yes.
So, and you mentioned Prince and perhaps Michael Jackson. I mean, even these celebrities who should know better. I mean, they have an army of attorneys. How is it that some of them don't end up getting their affairs involved?
You know, I would imagine it's just looking at death. I think that, and we all get so busy, and it feels so far away to so many of us. And you know, I don't know. I don't think a lot of those people are surrounded by people who keep their affairs in order as well as they should be.
Yes. So, especially, you were telling me before we went on about a pro bono case that really touches your heart.
Yes, yeah.
Would you share that with the
Yes.
audience?
When the Texas reduced the number of the amount of money that people could use to hire teachers and pay teachers, they had a layoff in my school district, and at the time a counselor from the high school called me and said, I have a lady who has been brought to court by her ex-husband because he wants full custody of their 3 children. She has no money, she's about to lose her house, and she needs help being able to keep contact with those kids. And so I went in and free of charge, I made sure he didn't take her children from her, and that she too got to keep visitation and possession rights. And that's one of the greatest things I've done for somebody.
It seems to me like the area of law that you specialize in has to be so rewarding. There are a lot of lawyers that practice different parts of the legal field, and some they may not be proud of. I mean, this is something you go to bed at night extremely proud of the people you've helped.
Absolutely, I do.
Yeah, you're amazing. Well, we're almost out of time, so please leave our audience with a final thought. If somebody's watching this right now and they really haven't gotten their affairs in order, it doesn't have to be an arduous task, does it? Just meeting with somebody like you.
Yes, we just did wills and the documents that people need in 3 days for somebody, and that includes their contacting us, paying us, writing out our questionnaire with the answers we need, my meeting with them, and our getting the documents ready. If it were super complicated, it wouldn't happen that quickly. So in most cases, that's how that works.
And I know we're in kind of a do-it-yourself generation. What's the difference between bringing in a professional like yourself and then trying to do it online with some form you can download?
Well, you don't have any power over what you get. There's no customization. There's no ability to create things. A lot of times I also don't see documents that have all of the clauses they need in them in Texas, and I have seen some by very famous and big companies that are not correct. Right. So, you know, it's risky.
Yeah. Kelly, you've been a great guest. We're going to have you back.
I'd love that.
We're going to end with the website. CapertonWallingLaw.com is the website. Kelly Walling, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
You bet. And that's it for now. We'll see you next time.